So one of the things that I enjoy listening to all the attorneys at the firm is how they relate to clients. And as you know, I tell everybody you've got to find your own voice.
Right.
Right? You can't copy what I say and how I say because that's me. That's not you. So tell me a little bit about how you found your voice, how you deal with clients.
It's very, I would say, case specific, but a lot of it came to hearing how other people spoke to clients, and then I think taking what I figured to be the best parts of everything. But in some sense, I think that you do have to be a bit of a chameleon, and you have to acknowledge that our clients come from all walks of life. You could be speaking to somebody with a sixth grade education, or you could be speaking to an attorney. So you definitely have to match your tone and also a lot of your language to align with what's going to resonate with a client. I think the biggest tool and the key that I've discovered to being most effective is just leading with empathy, leading with understanding that to some extent you won't, unless you're in someone's shoes, you don't know exactly what they've been through, but acknowledging continuously that we are on their side and that we are obligated under our attorney ethics, of course, to remain on their side no matter what. And that ultimately that's what we're there for.
I found that too, is that a lot of our clients have never had exposure to the legal system,
Right.
have never even talked to a lawyer,
Mm-hmm.
don't know what to expect in a personal injury case. And then there's some people that have never been treated with respect or
Right.
with dignity.
Right.
And we certainly pride ourselves on treating our clients with the respect that they deserve in representing them and getting them the best result possible. But without that trust and that relationship that we form with our clients, it would make it a lot more difficult.
Oh, 100%. I think that trust is one of the most important hurdles that we have, because clients can come to situations where either they themselves or a family member has had a difficult situation with an attorney. And so we're coming in to basically rehabilitate their perceptions of lawyers, but also show them that we are there and we are there to assist them and help them. And so trust is absolutely at the foundation of building a good client-attorney relationship.
Okay, how about some of our cases where we have a single client, but there's someone in the background who's pulling the strings, a husband, a wife, or the worst, some relative that is a paralegal.
Oh, man.
And whispering in their ear about what we should and shouldn't be doing.
Right. I actually have had a couple calls just this week with that information. And typically what will happen is if I hear someone in the background, I will say, is someone else there? Can I get their name and information? Just so that I can make sure that everybody is on the same page, but also acknowledging to the client, hey, this is attorney-client privilege communication. Is this person invited in? Otherwise, our conversations have to be just the two of us.
And then we've had similar situations where we have one client and they have specifically told us, do not give any information to
Yes.
my husband, my wife, my boyfriend, my mother, my child.
Right. Yeah, and we'll also get some tough situations of a minor with divorced parents, where you get both sides of the spectrum of the mom said this, the dad said that. And I always wanted to do PI. I never wanted to do family law. So I have to do a little bit of gymnastics to avoid some of those conflicts. But
Right, and then another issue that comes up is in a wrongful death case.
Right.
So if somebody tragically passes away as the result of negligence and they leave heirs, the law says who is entitled to the money. We have had cases where a grandmother has basically raised their grandchild because the mother or the father are not in the picture, and the child dies, the money goes to the parents,
Right.
not to the grandparents. We've had to have those difficult conversations. If you have a family that can't agree on how to split up the money, very, very difficult situations.
yeah.
But most of the time, in your experience, how do the distributions in a wrongful death case work out?
We always try to start with having a informal conversation, bringing in all the family members and advising them that it's a good idea to work amongst themselves to identify how they want to portion things. At the end of the day, attorneys are, there's a reason they're called counselors or counsel, and it's that we counsel our clients and advise them of, the direction that we think is a good idea to go. So those types of tools are going to be more effective than going to court and having a hearing and dealing with the painful experience of being asked questions under oath with regard to your child and the experiences that you have with them, so that a judge could turn around and apportion.
Right. And, I don't care, what area of law that you practice in. We're dealing with people.
Right.
And we're dealing with emotions. We're not always dealing with logic. And although we may see something, this is completely logical, you should do it that way, we have to take into consideration that people aren't necessarily thinking with their head, but with their heart.
Yes, and that's absolutely right. And we do see that a lot with depositions too, is that in some sense, we're a bit robotic with how we handle them, where we do several a week and we give our advice, obviously, and prepare the client for what they're going to undergo. But a client has never typically been asked questions under oath. And sometimes they're shown videos of the incident. Sometimes they're shown pictures that they had taken of their injuries. And reliving that trauma can be extremely difficult. So we've had quite a few clients in the past at depositions break down, either crying or having a panic attack. And it's vital for your attorney at that point, of course, to stop the deposition, but also take off their lawyer hat and be a human. Go outside with them, take a couple, 15-minute break possibly to help calm them down and advise them of the direction that the case is going. I have seen some attorneys where their client is, having a bit of a mental episode, and the attorney kind of acts like a robot, sort of shuts down. And to me, if I was a client, I would feel like my lawyer wasn't on my side.
Right.
And so it's vital to have and acknowledge, obviously, our professional obligations, but that we are dealing with humans that are reliving one of the most traumatic experiences of their lives.
One of our firm values is approachability, right? We're very good attorneys, but we want to make sure that we're still human beings.
Absolutely.
And interacting with our clients on a personal and on a human level, and that connection really firms up the lawyer-client relationship.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, these are our clients that are relying on us to say, should I settle the case? Should I go to trial?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. And sometimes it requires those difficult conversations of saying, I know that you are not wanting to go to trial, you're not wanting to litigate your case, but we believe in it and we see that there's value there, and you're going to have to trust us to go that far.
Yeah, it's one of the things that makes me proudest is when a client tells me, you know what, Mr. McCready, I trust you.
Yes.
Whatever you think is best, because I know you've got my best interests in mind.
Yes, I think that's one of the best things that we can hear. But I did have a really pretty profound experience a couple weeks ago with a client. I was calling to advise him of a settlement that he was about to get, and he had forgotten about it. It had been, I think, 18 months to almost 2 years. And I called him and I notified him that we had been able to get the full policy limits from the insurance company, and he was getting about $19,000. It's not a huge settlement, but it's definitely something. He burst into tears and he said, I have my church prayer group in the other room because my wife was diagnosed with cancer, and we need $18,000 to get her this treatment. And we had been praying and trying to find a way to get this kind of money, and we just couldn't get it. And I forgot about this case. And he was like, this was just what I needed. I felt like my prayers were answered. And that was so profound, because we don't hear stuff like that every day.
No.
And
but it's making a difference in people's lives.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, and we hold on to those moments when situations are difficult or when we have a loss that's particularly brutal. We always come back to, what we do and why we do it. And those types of experiences make everything all worthwhile.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's great chatting with you this morning, Jess.
Thank you. Good to see you.